Hi everyone, welcome to this tutorial where I'm gonna be showing you how to sew the honey towel pattern. This pattern comes in two different sizes, one for babies and one for toddlers, so you can make the perfect fit for the little one. It's a great project for beginners and makes a lovely handmade gift. The design features a soft towel base with a cute hood on one corner, all neatly finished with bias tape for a clean and professional look. It also includes a loop hook at the back for easy hanging. So, with this being said, let's go over the materials we'll need to bring this project to life. First, your main fabric. For the body of this project, we are going to use towel, and the best options are soft, absorbent, and gently on baby's skin, preferably 100% cotton. Some options that you can use are cotton terry cloth, bamboo terry cloth, or waffle weave cotton. Next, the contrasting fabric that we're going to use for the hood and the bias tape. Choose a lightweight and soft fabric that feels also comfortable against the baby's skin and adds a decorative detail. Some options that you can consider are cotton gigant, cotton poplin, cotton muslin, double gauze, or bamboo cotton blends. I will strongly recommend to use a bias tape maker if you want to speed up the process of making the bias tape at home. But if you don't have access to one of them, no worries. In the video, I'm going to show you how to create your bias tape without using one. Next, your regular sewing thread. You can choose a color that matches or contrasts your fabric color depending of the design detail you want to enhance. And finally, your PDF sewing pattern that you will find linked below in the description box. It comes in different file sizes, allowing you to print at home, at a copy shop, or use a projector. To continue, press your fabric with enough steam to pre-shrink it and then cut the pieces following the instructions listed on the patterns. Seam allowance is already included, so you just need to cut following the outer edge of the paper. Now take both hood pieces, the towel and the contrasting fabric, and place them right side together, aligning the longer edges. Sew along this edge using 1/4 of an inch of seam allowance. Next, understitch on the towel side to keep the seam flat. Press it and flip the towel to the wrong side so the contrasting fabric faces out. Trim any fabric excess if needed and top stitch along the edge to secure and give a neat finish. Place the hood with right side up on top of the towel at the position indicated on the pattern. Baste it in place along the side edges to secure it before finishing with the bias tape. To create a continuous length of bias tape, join the strips together with right side facing, aligning the ends at 45-degree angle. You will notice a small fabric excess extending on both sides when the strips are placed this way. This overlap is intentional and acts as your seam allowance. Stitch from one corner to the other following the diagonal edge. Continue joining all the pieces until you complete the full length of your tape. You will need approximately 3.5 yards or 120 inches in total. Next, press all the seams, first flat to set the stitches and then open them to reduce bulk. Trim any excess fabric from the seam allowance for a cleaner finish. To form the bias tape in a commercial style finish, use a bias tape maker for ease and consistency. With the wrong side of the fabric facing you, insert the tip of the bias strip into the tool. As you gently pull the fabric through, it will automatically fold the edges inwards. Follow with a hot iron to press the folds in place as the tape emerges. If a bias tape maker is not available, no worries, I'm gonna link a video in the top corner for you to check how to make your own bias tape at home without using the tool. Then cut a piece of 5-inch long from the bias tape. Fold it in half with wrong side facing and edge stitch along the open edge. Form a loop with the finished strip to create the towel hook. Place the loop on the back or wrong side of the towel, aligning the raw edges and following the placement indicated on the pattern. Secure it with pins or base to be ready for the next step. Next, begin installing the bias tape by marking half an inch extra at the edge for seam allowance to close it later. Open one edge of the bias tape and align it with the raw edge of the towel, placing the right side of the tape against the wrong side of the towel. Leave about 1 inch unsewn at the beginning and then sew along the edge using the pre-crease line on the bias tape as a reference for the stitching. When sewing around the corners or curves, gently stretch the bias tape a bit to avoid puckering. When sewing over the hook loop, take it nice and easy, making sure to catch all the fabric layers. Stop sewing about 1–1.5 inches before reaching the point where you started attaching the tape. Then measure the distance left to complete attaching the bias tape and add half an inch for the seam allowance. Next, close the bias tape edges by aligning right sides together and sew it using half an inch of seam allowance. Trim the extra fabric from the seam and press it open to reduce bulk. Then, just finish attaching the tape that is left. Trim the towel seam allowance to reduce bulk and under stitch on the bias tape side. With the help of an iron, fold the bias tape towards the right side of the towel. Using the previous stitch as a reference, position the bias tape slightly above the stitching line and baste it in place for more control. Then just edge stitch around the entire tape to secure it. Make sure to move the hook loop out of the way so you don't catch it while edge stitching. To finish, give your towel a good press to make sure all the seams are nice and neat, and that's it, your towel is ready. I hope you enjoyed sewing along with me as much as I did. If you have any questions, suggestions, or just want to say hi, I will see you in the comment section below. And don't forget to tag me on social media if you make this project. I love seeing your creations. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a happy sewing and I will see you in the next one. Bye!